Do you think I can get you excited for Star Wars again? Let's find out. Well, hello there, my dear friends, and welcome to another video. It is time for a blast from the past. Oh yes, indeed. It is always beautiful and sometimes sad, in the good way, to look into the past and see how much appreciated art was in the past as opposed, to today, and how much respected a source material was. So, my dear friends, please do look at the screen. That which you can see on the screen is a snippet from the Wizard magazine issue 58 from the June 1996. And kudos to the channel Cartoonist Kayfabe, who in their latest video as of making of this channel reviewed the entire magazine, which they do very often. They go an issue by issue and review it. It's very much appreciated. And I just saw this and I said to myself, oh yes, these were the times. If you compare the situation concerning the expanded universe from, Star Wars, other than the 6 original movies, if you compare this from the 90s to the situation of today, it is vastly different. And the 1990s, the latter half or the almost exact half of the 1990s, there was a special era. Expanded Universe was young. It was starting, it started a couple of years before that, but it was, in its full power. The comic books in that age were, the comic books in the United States of America, I'm not talking about the scene in Europe or Japan, it was turbulent. The beginning of the 1990s was an extreme boom. There was the speculation market, and then as the 90s progressed, comic books found themselves in a very uncomfortable position. But as far as Dark Horse and Star Wars, it was the golden age, the golden era of the Star Wars expanded universe comic books. These were the times to be alive and to be a Star Wars fan indeed. And so we shall read out this short snippet, this little report, reporting about an upcoming event called Shadows of the Empire, which of course then turned out to be one of the best storylines in the expanded universe ever, reaching not only into novels and comic books but also other media. And so we shall dive into it now. Star Wars: The Missing Chapter. While waiting for the re-release of the original 3 Star Wars movies, right, man? These were the times. The people were looking forward to the re-release of the original Star Wars films. The prequels were about to arrive in a couple of years, and then all the expanded universe. It continues. Fans are about to have a brand new chapter in Star Wars history to experience. Shadows of the Empire. Conceived by George Lucas, Shadows of the Empire is set between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Pay attention to conceived by George Lucas in bold. It was, still people respected George Lucas. And yes, the re-releases were about to contain some changes. But, I think that we have grown to be accustomed to George Lucas changing bits and pieces from his films. In comparison with what Disney are doing nowadays to Star Wars is nothing. But I would still very much like to have the original theatrical releases on Blu-ray. Don't tell me they don't have them. Don't tell me it is impossible. I know there are some fan edits. I know that. I'm very well aware of that. But I would like an official release of the theatrical original trilogy. Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, as they were released in cinema in the respective years. That would be like man, if I could have one thing from Star Wars now, like quote unquote new content thing, I would like that. All right, but it continues. Bridging the gap with a new story and characters. Do you remember Prince Shizor? Man, I need to reread that. I've just read the first paragraph. And I'm already excited about Star Wars again. So it's really only the new crappy content being released by Disney that mars Star Wars for a lot of people. If you look to the past, you will always get excited. Think about the original trilogy. Think about the expanded universe. And, Star Wars is very much alive in our hearts still. Shadows of the Empire is essentially the story that George Lucas wanted to tell, but never filmed, explains editor Pete James. It's all based on seeds by George Lucas and then expanded for the novel and the comic book series. Shadows of the Empire is primarily a novel by Steve Perry and a 6-issue comic book miniseries from Dark Horse Comics by John Wagner, Killian Plunkett, and P. Craig Russell. These are star names, man. Steve Perry, John Wagner, one of my favorite creators. Killian Plunkett, not that known to me by name. I'm sure I'm very well acquainted with the work. And P. Craig Russell, come on. The comic book series isn't an adaptation of the novel, James explains. Each focuses on a different part of the story, and both stand on their own as good reads. And I have reread these multiple times, both the novel and the comics, and I recommend them 100%. As a matter of fact, I will reread them myself very soon, I think. Dark Horse has had to coordinate heavily with other companies for Shadows of the Empire, making it the company's most ambitious project to date. Other tie-in material includes a video game for the Nintendo Ultra 64, a soundtrack from Varese Starband, Micro Machines from Galoop, trading cards from Topps, gaming material from West End Games, and much more. We've never done anything of this magnitude before, explained James, but it's all working very nicely. Lucasfilm's very pleased, and the buzz is starting to get out there that this is the next big thing. We're hoping that people buy the soundtrack and then listen to it while reading the comic or the book. See, that's salesmanship, man. Where are the times? Where have all the Star Wars books gone? Sorry. Shadows of the Empire issue 1 is scheduled for an early May release, with the rest of the merchandise to follow soon after. Slated for a July release is a Boba Fett Battle of the Bounty Hunters, featuring fully painted artwork by Chris Mueller. Battle of the Bounty Hunters is a pop-up book and will see distribution to chain bookstores as well as comic book specialty shops. Yeah, man, listen, I've got nothing else to add other than go get yourself the Shadows of the Empire and just dive into it. If you haven't done that before, and if you have, do it again, because it's 100% worth it. All right, then. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. That will be all. Thank you very much for watching, and may the Force be with you.